And in the midst of that, someone wrote under my post and said, Master, don't nobody want to hear this bullshit you talking about, whatever. You need to be talking about Nipsey Hussle being murdered. Now,
that's a sad
this also is a very sad and disturbing situation. However, I didn't discuss these things, and it wasn't because I was being biased of the situation. It just was that I didn't know who Nipsey Hussle was.
You know what, sister? I'm going to stop you right here. I didn't know who he was.
I didn't know who he was.
I didn't know it. I promise, and I'm not trying to throw any type of shade to him. I had no clue who he was until
yesterday.
He was killed.
Yeah, yesterday.
I didn't know this was Lauren London's
I didn't
husband.
know. I did. These are things that I did not know.
That's because we're not really into the whole.
We're not really into that.
The rapping and all that.
The first time of me really hearing, of him, it came in the form of an article speaking about some homophobic or homophobic thing that he had stated. So for me, when that is attached to any individual, I already canceled.
I didn't hear about that though.
Oh well, girl, you have to know your things. I canceled it out because I'm like, okay, well, we got another person in the rap industry or in that world that feel like that LGBT is a part of some made up agenda, and they feel like that we are a part of the decline.
Did he not accept the community, or?
I don't know much about it. I did see the article. I did see the article on the Root, and I'm not using this time to bash or say anything indifferent against this gentleman. I'm just pointing out that I was not in a space of knowing what was going on, and people were under my comment reading me saying because I wasn't talking about it, and my introduction to him was this article about something that he had said. Now, condolences and giving bereavement out to a family is due to any human being that has been murdered or life has been taken, But for me, in these instances, these are the times that we as African American people have to be mindful of all the things that we do and say. That goes for LGBT and straight people as well, because at the end of the day, in the beginning of the day, we start out human beings first.
Well, sister, can I stop you right here?
Yes.
Whether this man did say something about our community in a bad way or not, this is a sad situation at the end of the day.
Yes, it is.
He was taken away from his family. We know we all love Lauren London. We know who Lauren London is.
Yes, we do.
And let's imagine how she's feeling at this point. She probably is going through hell and back right now. But I honestly did post him on my page. I posted him. I said I didn't know him, but I wanted to give him a rest in peace.
And that's right. And that
give him respect.
And as queens,
he's pretty big.
Yeah, but listen, as queens and gay people, this is normally the thing that we do. This is normally the stuff that we do because we understand oppression, separation, segregation. We understand that
because it happens all the time
to
in our
us.
Community. Yes.
But when it comes to them, the only thing, because I had a conversation with somebody about this, the only thing when it comes to them, there's the support system is not the same.
Yeah,
there's not a same rest in peace to us.
I agree with you.
There's not a same battle them on the battlefront for us. It's not the same. It's not the same. It becomes they are them, we are us. When it's them, we are us together.
I agree with you on that, sister. If I was to die today, do you think a whole community of heterosexual people would post rest in peace Sidney Starr?
No.
Probably not.
No, they wouldn't.
That's just, we're being real.
No, they would not.
We're being real about that, and I agree with you on that. But like I said, at the end of the day, this situation is a horrible situation. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. From what I read up on him, he was a very, very, very good person.
Yes.
He did a lot for the hip hop community.
Yes, he did.
And I'm saddened by it.
I'm also.
It shouldn't have happened.
It should not have happened. He's a human being, and his life should not have been taken.
It shouldn't.
But there has been a lot of Craig.
Yes.
There's been a lot of
conversation. There's
conversation
about it in the black community. So it's like the black gay community is split from the black heterosexual community, because there are black gay people or LGBTQ people who feel that he was against homosexuality, because he obviously was a very positive person. He spoke about investing in black community, purchasing property, black folks purchasing property, all of that kind of stuff. But there was also this conversation about the gay agenda, this idea that black men are being emasculated, or that gay people are trying to break the black family, all of that kind of conversation. But the Root wrote an incredible article about that.
Can you break that down? Break the article down that the Root said. And do we have these things up here?
Yeah.
Listen, and one thing that I'm not doing is, I really don't want to make this thing. This is why I put the transgender woman first, and then I put him second, because I wanted to see. You have to be able to see this stuff in order for you to understand that this is the true situations that's going on out here in the world.
This is my community with the transgender happening. I didn't even know about that until now.
Right.
I mean, and it's just sad to say that if someone like us was to be murdered, it wouldn't probably get that much coverage.
It will not just. It will not. It's not if. It will not happen. Because a lot of people feel that we are a detriment to our community. African American people, a lot of African American, I can only speak because I'm black, feel that LGBT people are a detriment to our black families.
To the survival of black people.
To the survival of black people. They feel that we prey on children. All of this stuff. And this is why I'm not always quick to rush to issues in our community like that. I'm not always, because when it's time for me to seek refuge in my own community, I don't have that spot. I don't have that spot.
Well, sister, this is the world we live in.
This is how it is. But we cannot keep saying that this is the world that we live in.
So there was this conversation.
Jeremiah Sutton said, "I'm sorry, but it's very hard for me to feel sorry for people who hate me." And this is where they were bickering on Twitter. They were bickering on Twitter about this. We need to put that Twitter feed, that Twitter thread up where they were talking about that stuff on Twitter, you know. And and it had a couple of people torn with the situation. I did tell you guys this is the segment of the show that we're gonna take a moment on, because
This is serious.
This is serious.
This is serious. Everyone knows we're fun and like to have fun and laugh, but we should hit on stuff like this, and we need to show people our serious side, even though we love to be goofy.
Yeah.
But they need to know we have this side too.
But it's also important too. Like, a lot of black folks felt like it was some sort of conspiracy that he was killed because he was doing this documentary about Dr. Sebi.
I heard about that.
Who was an herbalist.
He was trying to cure AIDS, right?
Cure AIDS. He said he had a cure for AIDS. But according to the Hollywood Unlocked, what is known so far, Nipsey Hussle's killing shooter got close before opening fire outside the Marathon, which was his clothing store in L.A. Shooter was known as Nipsey. Shooter is believed to have gang affiliation. So even Charlamagne the God had talked about it on the Breakfast Club, that this was basically black on black crime, and it was not some conspiracy.
Right here? They said, I was told the shooter actually went on live and said he shot. I don't know if you guys heard that, but the shooter went live and said he shot him. He was talking to someone else.
I don't think that was real. I think that was some clout chasing situation right there. I do feel that. Like, I think that just was some type of person trying to get a view or a like. You know, trying to capitalize off of the trending.
Why would you want to do that?
Girl, people try to jump in. Just like next week, we won't even really be talking about this. No shade.
But I think the piece of the conversation that you should read, because this is really a conversation about black people and the way that we see sexuality. Until black people understand that all black lives matter, not just black straight people, but LGBTQ lives have to matter too.
Everybody.
Right. And so there's this whole conversation about toxic masculinity.
According to the Root,
yes.
According to the Root, the article was written by, we'll get her name. She said, toxic black masculinity is why our boys don't understand how to express their emotions. They are told not to cry because crying is for sissies. They are often made to feel as if they have to fight or become physically aggressive to prove themselves. They then grow up to be emotionally crippled men who resort to violence when things don't go their way. They can't take rejection and don't know how to handle it. So a woman who tells a man no is likely to be harmed or even killed. Verbal and emotional abuse is a thing because this is the way a black man is supposed to express himself. There is no middle ground. There is only soft and a real man.
You know what, Madison? Can I say something? I am writing a book that has a lot to do with what we're talking about. I have a book coming out, and it's not a tell-all book. It's not, trying to make our, community look bad. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about these very important issues that we're talking about, and I just want people to know, if you don't understand at this moment what we're talking about, just know when my book comes out, it's called From Ken to Barbie. You're going to understand in depth what we're talking about, because at this point we're doing a live show, so some people may not understand what we're trying to explain to them. But we can continue to do this right now. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
I am.
You know what I mean? So
I am blocking.
Because that's what I was coming to.
Well, here, get over here and block this stuff on my thing. See, and this is the problem. I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna block you people because you don't want to have these discussions, because this is something that hits home for you. And this is the thing, you don't want to have these conversations. You don't want to talk about it. You rather for
throw
us,
it under the carpet.
You rather for us to be quiet when we're saying this stuff out of our mouths. We are black people too. We are African American people too. And when people stand on their soapboxes or whatever it is that they stand on their platforms and they speak about whoop, 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 and then they say, well, this is for you, but as long as you're not this. You don't have to say it, and you can say it in so many words. Mm-hmm. It's just like you going out here fighting for your country as a black man or a black woman and coming back home and still being a nigga. It's just like you as a queen going out here, a gay man or a trans woman going out here fighting for your fucking country, and you coming home and you being a faggot. People are tired of those situations.
Basically, what Madison is trying to say here is Nipsey Hussle's death. It is a sad situation.
It is.
But it should be taken seriously.
Just like our sister.
Our sister just got shot.
Our sister's
it should
death
be the same.
Should be global.
Exactly.
The same exact way.
Exactly.
It should be equal.
Period.
Now we have a person here in the audience that my baby David is out here in the audience, and
What's up, baby?
we debated about this just a little bit. Please get this camera. I need you to get this camera for not being blurry, because we're going to talk about this and then we're going to move on.
Sister, I want to thank you for speaking on this.
We have to. It's
because
important.
This is something that somebody like me probably would be afraid to talk about on my own.
I'm not scared of it.
Just because people are too judgmental. And I've been judged all up around, but this is a really serious subject that people really have serious opinions on.
Let's go side by side, Vincent, please.
Go.
What's up, babe?
Jasmine, what you said, we have to do better as a community, period. The man died and y'all saying y'all can't really feel bad. I didn't say I didn't
No one said that.
I didn't say that. What I said is that I want the same outrage from my trans sister immediately.
There's a young guy, Ed Buck is a political strategist. He's a political fundraiser, white guy out in California. He's been on record killing black gay men, and no one has, at least two. And he's been injecting these boys. He's using them for sex. He's paying them for sex.
We've talked about this numerous times on my show.
This man is still walking around free.
That's
so
terrible.
nobody is talking about that.
Didn't we just say that? We just said we are saddened by this situation.
We just said this.
This man, Nipsey, was taken from his family.
This man is
he
a
was
father.
taken from his fucking family.
He's a father.
He's still a black man.
He's
we got much love for him.
Yes.
So wait, before we go too far off topic to all the other things that are affecting community and we lose focus, right? I just want to get on. I want to get on topic with Nipsey Hussle.
You gotta
Talk up, louder. Okay. I want to make sure we stay on topic with Nipsey Hussle before we move on toward the other acts of outrage that are happening against our people, because what I've been seeing on Facebook is a lot of LGBT people spewing hate toward Nipsey Hussle for the comments that he made in the past about LGBT people.
Hold on, David. Before you do that, did we hear the Queen's Court spew any hate towards him?
Absolutely not.
Not at all.
So I'm not necessarily addressing the Queen's Court, but I'm addressing the LGBT community at large for what I've been seeing. Although we are definitely an oppressed people, I believe that as an oppressed people, it never helps to be oppressive to others. It never helps to kill hate with hate. The only way you can kill hate is with love. The only way you can change your mother's opinion, your grandmama's opinion, your daddy's opinion is by leading by an example and showing them what they're missing. Because we all come from a black community, and in a black community, we're all taught that being gay is wrong. So if people have not got to the place where they have new understanding, it is our job, our responsibility as LGBT people to educate them. So if we don't do that, or we don't take that opportunity, and then we get upset with them for being in an ignorant place from a lack of understanding, then we're not actually going to move anything forward. So for a man to make statements, and he corrected him on the Breakfast Club, but for him to make statements in the past about our community, obviously with good intent. This is not a Trump type of dude who spews hate toward everybody. He had the best of intentions for his community and simply misunderstood something that affected us. It's important that we still show this man love and respect this man's life and his death. Exactly. When he's slain and was still a valuable aspect to the community at large, black and LGBT, because he was hell-bent on killing hypermasculine ideas as well. So I feel like even though he didn't necessarily initially support us as a LGBT community, it is important to be able to separate and to understand that that's where everyone starts from, including ourselves. This is why, as LGBT people, we hated ourselves and wanted to change ourselves.
Never.
Well,
I never hated myself,
let me speak for myself.
I'm sorry.
Let me
never
speak for
hated
myself
myself.
and many people of my experience.
You know
Growing
what?
up, I was very much in turmoil about who I was, and I hated those aspects of who I was because I was taught that they were wrong. And it wasn't until I was exposed to other people like me and had a grown mind that I began to find love and find correctness with the way I was created. So with that being the case in my own experience as a LGBT person, I will be able to understand someone with outside of the community having those misguided views and needing to be enlightened. But if you don't take the time to teach people, they never get there. You can't meet people with anger
I understand
and weaponize.
Oh, I understand what you're saying, but this is 2019.
The year doesn't matter.
This is 2019.
The year does not matter.
This
it's 2019, and there are children coming out right now being kicked out of their house by their parents.
But and you know why? And guess what? You are on your lives. You are on your lives. I'm on my platform. Craig is on his. She's on hers. We are all visible. We're all visible. It's if you choose to accept you trying to be taught something different.
But this is the thing.
If you choose to accept
when you meet people with hate, you don't give them the opportunity to learn from you.
You know what? You don't meet
when you're online talking about I'm not honoring this man's death.
No.
No RIP to him. I'm not soliciting to him because he didn't like my people. Then you're not creating that opportunity for his child, for his baby mama, for his mother, or his brother, or anyone who cares about him.
I'm sure
you're promoting hate.
Well, I'm sure if you stand on your platform and you speak about LGBTQ stuff in a way that's divisive, you've already told your children this at home. So you've already instilled this into your kids at home.
The divisiveness is coming from within our community, is what I'm saying. The divisiveness is coming from LGBT people saying that they're not going to honor this man's life or his death because of him having a different or an ulterior view of who they were. So that, to speak to your own statement you just said, is exactly what I'm saying. If you are spewing those things, then it's going to be divisive versus bringing us together.
But you're trying to hold, but it sounds as if you're holding me at fault.
No, not
It sounds as if you're, not me. I'm just saying me and individuals that think like me at fault for not being sensitive to individuals who have the same computer, the same internet, the same Google, the same teacher, the same stuff, but are attempted at being taught these things, but it's not accepted. That's just like me walking into a room and they don't know your tea or mine, and then someone on the side says these two are men, and then they come forth from their neck and say, "Hey, sir, how you doing?" We didn't introduce ourselves to them as men.
So that's where you have to educate them.
They were educated.
No.
They knew.
No, because some people are not educated. Just because you understand that you're supposed to be gendered as a female, there's some people that have old ways of thinking. But I don't even want to get off topic to that measure. But as it relates to someone's life or their death, there's honor and there's disrespect.
Let me say something. I'm sorry to cut you off, David. I agree with you in a way, because there was one point in my life where I was suicidal, and I hated myself. Absolutely. Because I thought the way I was, it wasn't right. It wasn't the right way to be. And I would never want anyone to go through that. But as us as a community, we go through that because we get told so many things that this is not right. You're going to hell. Change your life. You know what I mean? But I want people to understand that we need to let people know that sometimes we are born like this.
But let me say this so that we can move to the next thing. One of the things that I think that black folks in particular need to understand is that sexuality is instinctive. It's how you're wired. It's not a choice. It's not a decision. You don't choose your skin color. You don't choose your hair color. So it's not something that you can.
Hold on. Let me address you, Joey B. Because you said something about me on my Instagram that I did not appreciate. Let me explain something to you. This is bigger than Nipsey Hussle sweets.
Right.
This is where your mind is thinking in a small space. What this man has said, he's not the only one that has thought like this. There are people, even as in Kaya, who I sat next to that I have to take responsibility for myself. I sat next to a person who said nasty, homophobic, transphobic things sitting right next to me when my show was what it was, and I didn't take responsibility for that, and I was dead ass fucking wrong for that. I was dead ass motherfucking wrong for that, because that bitch sat right there and called everybody from a fag to a dyke, and I had no business being a trans person sitting next to that, letting that spew out because we all thought it was fucking funny. We gotta take responsibility for that shit. And Joey, let me explain something to you. I'm the same queen when I first came out, bitch, and everybody treated me some kind of way because I had an adult entertainment background and didn't want to book me and all, and the white people were booking me. Y'all the same motherfucking people that said I was a motherfucking cooning for the white people. And now all of a sudden I don't take up for my fucking people. I'm tired of being a black trans woman who gets on the line of scrimmage for her fucking people, and her motherfucking people is the first people to disrespect her. So if you don't like any of that stuff, you don't have to follow me, and you don't have to subscribe to anything that I got going on. I'm exhausted with it. This is bigger than Nipsey. This is an entire conversation piece. Bigger than him. I posted my trans sister first. Get the fuck out of here with that shit with me. I'm black before I'm anything first. But I'm tired of my black people dogging me to the ground. When I'm having an altercation with somebody, it's usually a black man or a black woman first. Or a black queen. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
I felt that. I really
I'm sick of it. How many problems do you got?
I agree. I go through it too, since I live everyday life.
A bitch tired of that shit.
I've been through it as well. Like you don't go through that when you go through a white community, do you? You know, it's life. It's how it is. It's sometimes our community and this is not even about gay or straight, but our community as black people, we judge too much. We judge.
Then we sit here,
too much.
And I love you, David. We sit here, we say stuff about educating people. We sit here, we try to educate the motherfuckers every day. I sat next to Kaya every fucking time we did a show and said, girl, you cannot use those words. You cannot say those words. You should not say that shit.
And guess who?
And the first thing what happened when me and that bitch split, I was a man, a nigga. I was just sus yesterday.
Right.
I was just sus yesterday. I was a man, a dude, because this is the way you felt in your fucking heart. And all you queens that was out there supporting that bitch, that was on every live, and I was, oh my God, she read Madison to death. She read her. No, bitch, she wasn't just reading Madison. She was reading your faggot ass too.
Okay.
Period.
And you're the ones that are out there buying her stuff.
But
You're the ones buying her
about
stuff. It's no different from gay men who sit in a church every single Sunday and they're tearing you down. And you writing your check paying tithes to a church that doesn't even support you.
But it was my fault. I'm going to take responsibility. It was my fault for sitting there and not saying a motherfucking word, but it'll never happen again. It's just like I just told David, it's 2019. It won't happen in 2019. And it won't happen 2019 and beyond. It won't happen again. Ever. You don't fuck with us and be fine with it. I don't want everybody to accept me, bitch. I want you to respect me. And if you can't respect me, stay the fuck out of my way.
Period.
Next case.
Sister, I felt that through my whole body.
Let's run our promotions for those people that are coming out to see the show.
New York City. Oh my God. Baby, when I tell you that the Queen's Supreme Court is Honey, we not just giving you one day, girl, we giving you a whole weekend, baby. Me, Funky Dr. Ross, and the real Miss Sophia, baby. Child, we coming there for a 2-day extravaganza. Girl, get on Eventbrite right now. www.eventbrite.com and get your motherfucking tickets, bitch, for Easter weekend, bitch, with the Queen's Supreme Court. That's April 21st and April 22nd. Sunday, come have brunch with me and King David. And Monday, come on out and judge these cases as a live show, bitch. Listen, don't meet me there, bitch. Beat me there.
Maddie, me and David love you.
I love my baby David. Shit, I'm gonna have his baby.
I said me and David.
I'm gonna have your baby too, Caleb. But I gotta get David permission. David, can I have Caleb, baby?
We're gonna have our babies all together. We're gonna see who seen the beat to the edge.
Who's swimming? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Vincent, I'd like for you to put the camera back on the audience, and I'd like to say something outside to everyone. David, I love you.
I love you, baby.
And I thank you so much for contributing to the last topic that was going on. I want you to know that we are human beings and we have the right to agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
And I want to say in closing on that last thing that we lose people every day. We need to start loving each other.
Absolutely.
For who and what exactly the fuck we are. And if we don't accept each other, at least respect each other.
And babe, let me just say this. I just want to say this. I don't want to be misunderstood by my message. My message is not to pander to heterosexual people who will not accept us. But for those who are moving with the loving heart and simply misunderstand, it's to be diligent. It's not to give up on those you love for misunderstanding, but to teach them by being who you are, standing out and not giving up about who you are. Don't feel that something's wrong with who you are. Stand out and stand in that, and you will teach them something by planting a seed. And that's it. It's not your job to water it. It ain't your job to make them feel okay with who you are. But it's your job to stand in that. And that's it.
And let me tell you something. I think exactly what we did in that segment, for those that watch, we educated people in that segment.